The Mountain Climber. Mark's dad had always been an adventurer at heart. When Mark was young, his dad would take him on hiking trips and camping expeditions. They would explore new trails and climb mountains together, always seeking out new challenges. As Mark grew older, he became more cautious and less willing to take risks. But his dad continued to push himself to the limit, always seeking out new challenges to conquer. Mark had always been close to his father, but when he passed away suddenly, Mark felt lost and alone. To honor his father's memory, Mark decided to climb a mountain that his father had always dreamed of conquering. It was a treacherous mountain with steep cliffs, dangerous ravines, and unpredictable weather, but Mark was determined to complete the climb and to scatter his father's ashes at the summit. As Mark set off on his journey, he felt a mix of emotions. He was sad and grieving for his father, but he was also excited to tackle the challenge of the mountain. For hours, he hiked through rocky terrain, crossing streams and climbing over boulders. The higher he climbed, the more breathtaking the view became. But the climb was tough, and soon Mark began to tire. Just as Mark was about to give up, he met an old man who was sitting on a rock overlooking the valley below. The old man had a wise look in his eyes, and he smiled at Mark as he approached. "Hello, young man," the old man said. "I see you're on a journey. What brings you to this mountain?" Mark told the old man about his father's dream of climbing the mountain and about his own goal of scattering his father's ashes at the summit. The old man listened intently, nodding his head in understanding. "It's a noble goal," he said, "but this mountain is not easy to conquer. It will test your strength, your courage, and your character. Are you ready for the challenge?" Mark hesitated, but then he nodded his head. "Yes," he said, "I am ready." "Good," said the old man, "but remember this. On this mountain, you will face many challenges. You will need to forgive yourself for your mistakes, be patient in the face of adversity, and endure through even the toughest challenges. If you can do these things, you will reach the summit and fulfill your goal." With those words of wisdom, the old man disappeared, leaving Mark to continue his journey. As Mark climbed higher, he faced numerous obstacles. There were steep cliffs that he had to scale, deep ravines that he had to scale, deep ravines that he had to cross, and storms that threatened to turn him back. But through it all, he remembered the old man's words and pushed forward. When he reached the halfway point, Mark began to doubt himself. He was tired, his muscles ached, and his will was fading. But then he remembered his father's dream and the old man's words. He took a deep breath, forgave himself for his doubts, and pushed on. As he climbed higher, the mountain became steeper and more dangerous. But Mark was patient and careful, taking each step with caution and deliberation. He endured through the toughest parts of the climb, never losing sight of his goal. Finally, after days of climbing, Mark reached the summit. He was exhausted and battered, but he felt a sense of pride and accomplishment that he had never felt before. As he scattered his father's ashes, Mark thought about all that he had learned on the mountain. He had forgiven himself for his doubts, had been patient in the face of adversity, and had endured through even the toughest challenges. As he made his way back down the mountain, Mark knew that he had been forever changed by his experience. He had learned important lessons about forgiveness, patience, and endurance, and he knew that these lessons would stay with him forever.